to the advanced devil's advocate video. This one's going to be very, very interesting because I will not be playing devil's advocate on the 4 hour. I will take it one step bigger and I will do it on the daily chart just so you can be able to identify how you can capitalize on major moves and also place positions on bigger time frames as well. If you want to be taking a swing trade, this would be ideal. So let's see how we can put all this information together and let it work in your favor. So for example, yesterday we had major news coming out. So you know that around that time, you don't want to be placing any trades. Anyways, this was after 12 p.m. Eastern time. So most of the time, you are not going to be trading after 12 p.m. Eastern time. You do have a pattern that unfolds usually between 12 and 2 p.m. Eastern time. However, it is best to just stay cash around that time, especially if there's news coming out. So after the news was released, you let the candles form, and then you see here that we had market structure break to the downside. Let me remove the fibs and draw them again. Bearish environment overall. After the news came out, then you consider running your fibs, not before the news. And then you run your fibs, running short because that's where market structure broke. And then you see a 62 to 79 rejection for a short. Came back up to test that level. Now in this case, we had confluence again with the 200 EMA. So be mindful that this is a short. Also, if you're looking at the 1 hour chart, what do we have here? We have a bearish tide shift pattern. And everyone knows by now that these patterns are ideal and they're very, very explosive. So here you have the short, the 62 short, and also a massive, massive flush because now we're penetrating the 200 to reach for the previous lows, which was right here. So this was a perfect setup. Let's see how many pips we could have captured with this trade. And this was about 85 pips. So that seems about right. On average, you would be capitalizing on as much as 85 to 90 pips. All right. So now let's go one step deeper. And now let's look at the daily chart. On the daily chart, what do we see here? If we play devil's advocate now on this time frame, we see a EMA cross. We see a first bounce. So let's draw our fibs going long. EMA cross, first bounce, and we see a bounce right here at the 70 for a long. So once you take your short on the 15-minute chart, you would immediately run the fibs, go in the opposite direction on a higher time frame. Also, if you look at a 4 hour chart, you would see that we also had a similar setup. EMA cross, first bounce, and it would have been very, very similar as the daily chart. You had a 70 long there as well. So be mindful that whenever you take your trade, there's going to be another trade setting up going the opposite direction on the higher time frame. And this is how we play chess with the market. We're not just thinking that this is bearish and we are going to just let a position run for several hours or several days. No, we need to anticipate the bounce that is going to most likely occur going the opposite direction. So I feel like this video is a perfect explanation on how to put together our entries on the 15-minute, how to see the bearish tide shift or bullish tide shift unravel on the setup here, because we had a EMA cross, which is a bearish temporary environment. Now our aim was the 200 EMA to penetrate and reach previous lows, or if it's a bullish tide shift, to reach previous highs. And this is an awesome setup. It couldn't have been any more perfect than this. I personally have a long position that I took on the 70 bounce here on the daily, and I will be posting the results on Friday, and I'm holding this as a swing position just because I want to show everyone that you can use it as a swing trader or position trading. It doesn't matter what kind of trader you are. Be mindful that charts are fractals and the pattern can be used in any time frame. So this is going to be a very, very good setup here. I will give you what my analysis and what I believe is going to happen. And what I believe is that today we had the rejection at the 70. Tomorrow is Friday, and we're gonna fill a wick to create liquidity to touch the 70 again, and we're gonna get a tweezer bottom here and end the day anything above this level here, which is the 1736. And I believe we're pretty much gonna touch the 1750, which is the 200 EMA. And this is what I anticipate, and this is why I have those positions running right now, and they will be running overnight. However, I'm not in the trade with 10 lots. I'm in with a smaller position because it is a riskier trade since I'm holding overnight. However, it's going to be a great example to show all my students how this pattern works, disregard of what kind of trader you are. I hope I clarify this setup again with this video, and I will show one more sample before I conclude it. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM. And with this session that we had here during London and New York, it's part of playing devil's advocate. However, we're just focused on the 15-minute, which is a different method of playing devil's advocate, which is playing chess instead of playing checkers with the market. You want to be 2 steps ahead or even 3 steps ahead of what's potentially going to happen. So a good example here is noticing how we see the market structure break to the downside with this very strong candle. So I would run my fibs from the beginning of the leg to the lowest point of the leg right here. We see a quick retracement, 62 short. All right, where did it stop? It stopped right at the measured move. So once you take this short here, you can anticipate to take profit at the measured move. Why? Not just only because it's a measured move, because measured moves don't always complete. One way to identify that this would be a complete measured move is because we also have confluence with the 200 EMA. And since we have confluence with the 200 EMA, it can also anticipate a strong bounce to the opposite direction. Why? Because if you notice, the overall trend is bullish. So we had a bullish trend, quick market structure break to the downside. Our EMA is also crossed, perfect measured move. And then now let's remove those fibs and run fibs to the upside, because now we see market structure break to the upside. Beginning of the leg, top of the leg, quick retracement, and then now you see a long position. And that carry on for the remaining of the day. So this is a good example of playing devil's advocate. Do not just focus on taking your trade and taking profit, but anticipate, where am I going to take my trade? When am I going to take profit? And potentially right around the time where I take profit, is that a 62 bounce going the opposite direction? Or is that a measured move? And always sit back and analyze what is going on. Do not anticipate to go one direction. Just know that there are multiple opportunities all the time forming to go both directions, as long as you have proper confluence with the EMAs or with your institutional levels. For example, with this long here, we did not have any confluence with the EMAs. Why? Because the EMAs, they still had a bearish sign from the short that we took here with the measured move. However, with the long position here, we had a market structure break to the upside, and we have beautiful confluence with the 6200 institutional level. So that's a good indication that that zone could most likely be rejected and actually rip going that intended direction, since we already broke market structure to the upside. And that is a good way to play devil's advocate on the 15-minute, and also use it on the 4-hour as well if you're looking at the bigger picture or if you're looking to take larger profits. Thanks for listening.